What's going on, everybody? This guy has challenged Mid-10 Outdoors. Mid-10 Outdoors is coming back with that challenge. What's going on, everybody? It's Patrick, Mid-10 Outdoors. How's my outdoor crew doing? Remember, no fear, just faith. Survive Into has challenged me. Actually, it was an open challenge, but he sent me a private message and said, hey, I want you to do this. And I said, hey, not a problem, dude. It may be a couple of days before I do it or a couple of weeks, as it's turned out, before I do it, but I will do it. So here it goes. He wanted to see my top 5 items that I always go out into the woods. Well, actually, he said either bushcraft / camping items that I always go out with. That's easy, because I take them with me hiking too. So I guess we'll start over here. This tarp is always with me, but I'm fixing to change it out for a different tarp. I have a much lighter tarp. This is a blue 5x7 tarp that's got the aluminum on the inside. This, I still say this be a top rated tarp. It's a 5x7. You can hang it up and say you build a long fire in front of you with that reflective in the winter. It's going to knock the fire back, the heat back at you, so it'll keep you warm. So I always have a tarp or of some kind with me when I'm hiking, when I'm backpacking. Of course, when I'm backpacking, I may have my tent, or I may have hammock, or say it's dire emergency, it's this or the other tarp. So anyway, so always have some kind of shelter or a way of getting a fast shelter up. Now I have a philosophy in kits, not just one item, but kits. Now I do have paracord. I always have paracord in all of my bags, so I can hang this up. I can make stakes out of sticks, so I'll never have to worry about that. So there's a shelter right there. The next thing, water. I learned in Boy Scouts, drink water or you will die. No, seriously, you will die if you don't drink water. So I always have my Pathfinder water vessel with me. Always have this one with me. This one always goes with me. And then I always have a spare Nalgene blue bottle that I carry with me too. Now, my philosophy behind the 2 bottles is boil in this one, pour into the Nalgene. So you collect your water and boil it in this, and then pour it in the Nalgene. Then you've got this one available. If you want to, go filter and boil more water. So you've got 2 containers full of water with you. Next thing is a fire kit. I always have a fire kit with me. This one's rather large. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to downsize out of this canvas bag into my orange Foxlight gear bag, because I think it'll all fit, and stuff that needs to be water resistant or waterproof, I'll baggie it up and be done with it. Food kit. I always carry a camp cooking kit with me. So you've seen this kit, you know how it's put together. There's a mini stove in here. There's a mini fuel cell in here, and matches and lighter in here to light the stove with. And I also always carry some little snacks in this thing, and I always have snacks on me too. So we've got shelter, we've got water, we've got fire, we've got a way to prepare something if we need to. The next biggest thing I think is my number 5 is my cutting tools. Now I don't just carry a knife. I always carry multiple ways of cutting, whether it be fine cutting with this knife, whether it be major cutting with this knife, and of course with this knife, having a ferro rod means I can start fire for the most part. I mean 99% of the time, unless it's pouring flood, then I can start a fire. And then processing bigger stuff, I always have a saw, and this is the Baco Laplander saw. I love this little saw. I know there's others, the Silky and all that, but I think this one's more proven than the Silky. There are people who have had problems with their Silky saws, so I stuck with the Laplander, and that's what I'm going to do. Now, as far as cutting tools, I do believe in carrying a pocket knife all the time, even when I'm camping and hiking. The one I like the most for that is the, oh, I done forgot. This is the, wow, see I'm bad, Ontario Rat folding knife. This is a fairly big folding knife, but it will process small stuff perfectly. I've done all kinds of stuff. I've done all kinds of camp cut-ups, cutting up food, processing stuff, camping with this knife. I've had to really do some detailed cleaning on this knife after I've gotten home from a camping trip. And what I like about this knife is it has multiple ways of carrying it. So whether you're lefty, righty, tip up, tip down, whichever you prefer, you can get it that way. You've seen my sheath knife. I'm still proud and stoked about this thing. Fixing to lose the lanyard on it. I really don't like that anymore. May do something a little different. But, I mean, when it comes to if you have to process some big game or something, you want a good knife with you. If you're doing if something happens to your saw and you definitely you end up having to baton with this, you can baton with this. It's a heavy, thick knife. It's going to take batoning. But that's the main thing too, is it being a good, thick knife. Alright, I didn't want to turn this into a real super long video, but that's the one I believe in. That's the way I carry it. And usually this is in my pack too. I always carry my mini Sawyer in the bag to go with it. So if I don't have time to boil water, I can at least bag it up, filter it, and go. So, like I said, I believe in systems, not just one thing. I believe in systems. Fire kit has multiple angles of starting a fire with this thing, from the simplest lighter to simplest spark, from a ferro rod, from you know, whatever it takes, flint and steel, whatever. Cooking kit, I believe in having a kit of some kind in there. And with this right here, I can do quite a bit with this little kit right here. I don't have to have a major cook stove or anything like that. This has got it all in this little kit, with a cup, cook stove, lighter, matches, you know, and I can keep little small foods in here, so it's good to go. And then cutting tools. So that's my 5 things, favorite things to take with me camping. Most all this, camping, hiking, bushcrafting, you know, whatever, most all this is with me every time. It may get transferred from one bag to the other, but this right here is my major stuff. Honestly, this is the oldest thing I own, is this right here, and this right here I've had for the last 5 years, 6 years maybe. And I've used this a few times, but it's nice and clean and rolled up now. Alright guys, that's it. Anybody else wants to jump in on this top 5 things you use camping or bushcraft? And I want to add to it and say top 5 systems. I want to say your systems. What complements your systems? For instance, my fire kit can complement my cooking kit. My cutting tools complement each other, what they can do. Sleep system, that's pretty simple. I mean, that's pretty, you know, your shelter is pretty simple. It's a shelter, it's a sleep system. Water, that's another simple system that you got to have. Alright guys, this is Patrick Midtown Outdoors. I hope I didn't make this too long. It's 9 minutes. It was longer than it needed to be. So, be prepared. And leave no trace. Bye.